Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. We have so many hot topics. I went to bed early last night and got up early this morning because I was like, oh no, there's something else that we have to discuss. But first, let's get to a couple random hot topics. For example, Kris Jenner is reportedly worried over the potential cancellation of Kardashians ahead of season 6. We're not. We are not worried about that at all. Y'all can fade into the mist like a fart for all we care. We know too much about you. We've watched you have a bowel movement. We've seen your poo. We've seen your poo. We don't want to see anything else from you. We've watched you get married and divorced and married and divorced and married and divorced and married and divorced. We've watched you go from puss to peen or peen to puss. We've seen it all. There's nothing else for you to show us. There's no more stunts. There's no more rabbits to pull out of a hat. We no longer care. Goodbye. And good riddance. And good riddance. You see, there's one thing you could never steal from Black women. Being authentically interesting. That's what they have over you. Being authentically interesting. And speaking of Black women that make us smile, Sade makes her musical return with a new single, Young Lion, in tribute to her transgender son. Now, I am all for this. This is wonderful. Can we get a whole album? Can we get a whole album? It's the album includes 46 songs from over 100 artists. We got Sam Smith and Andre 3000. It's a album for the LGBT. But Sade, can we get an album just from you? Because we've been waiting. It's been 10 years. You give us an album every 10 years. It's been 10 years, honey. It's been 10 years. We need something new. We really do. I know I need it. I know it takes you a minute, but come on. Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann, they've got a little bit more news. Kroy says that he has been isolated, imprisoned, and silenced during his 13-year marriage. I feel like that's what's supposed to happen to a husband during the marriage. You have you got 6 kids. You got 6 kids. That's not even Kim. That's you have to look after them kids. That's why you were isolated, imprisoned, and silenced. You got 80 children. Where are you going? I think you still got one in diapers. In I'm Never Moving to Los Angeles news, Ari Lennox reveals why she won't expose the robbers who broke into her home. And she said, I don't know what else they would do. I am tired of hearing of the stories of all these celebrities that live in LA getting their houses broken into. So I'm never moving there. That don't make no damn sense. I can really understand what she meant, where she's like, I ain't even trying to go there because I don't know who you know. I don't know who's going to be ticked off when you end up in prison. Prison. With no bail, no bail, no bail. They're going to keep your ass in jail with no bail, no bail, yeah. But still, I think this really means Los Angeles has fallen. Child, they didn't ran Goldie Hawn out of there. A few weeks ago, I was reporting on Goldie Hawn. I mean, she's hearing stuff in her house, and I'm like, isn't the point of living in these high-end gated neighborhoods to be safe and be able to keep your things? If the thieves know you're there and they're going to be there, I'm going to move somewhere middle class. I'm going to stay in an apartment. I not get robbed because they ain't going to think nothing in here. Shit. Hello, South Africa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Russell Simmons is now demanding that Kimora hand over text messages between her and her ex-husband in his lawsuit against them because he said they sold some Celsius stock that was supposed to be held in trust for their kids, and Tim kind of admitted to using that money to secure lawyers in his fraudulent case with Malaysia. Girl, I have to say, I'm single, but at least I ain't Kimura. I mean, other than Digimon Hanzu, all her men seem to be pretty awful. Russell Simmons, the abusive turtle, allegedly. Tim Leisner, the convicted felon. Convicted. Ooh, goodness. And then you got a goiter on top of it. I guess you did peak at 16. Sometimes life just isn't fair, kiddo. Sometimes life just isn't fair. Now, there's been rumors that Cardi B and Offset are having some cash flow problems, and this could be evidence that they may end up in debt news. In documents obtained by TMZ, the owner of the property heavily featured in Cardi B's Like What music video, which Offset directed, is alleging that the twosome lied about their filming plans, leading the homeowner to give them free use of the man's. As the plaintiff put it in the docs, Cardi, Offset, and their team knew they'd have to shell out a chunk of change to film at the prestigious Beverly Hills residence for a music video. So instead, reps for the couple told the owner an unnamed client hoped to film a TikTok video at the home. Based on this information, the homeowner let them use the property, which was previously rented by Justin Bieber and featured in a Logan Paul music video, for basically free, forgoing the usual short-term rental fee. The owner says had he known the truth about the music video, he would not have waived the rental costs. The home is prominently featured throughout the entire music video, which has been uploaded to YouTube and has earned over 27 million views in 6 months, meaning Cardi and Offset have definitely profited off of the footage. The owner of the mansion is seeking damages in the excess of $35,000. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about that? I mean, there was definitely a level of misrepresentation. However, when you say you're shooting a TikTok can be up to 10 minutes. So I feel like either you need to charge $35,000, you need to have a sliding scale of, okay, how much will the property be featured? And also, baby, if they're filming the shit at your property, I imagine the property is going to be heavily featured and they don't just need a space. Otherwise, they could have done it at home. That's more of an Offset move. Now that's interesting. I could definitely see production is always going to try to cut costs. They're always going to try to get something for free. And when you say you're making a TikTok, that doesn't mean that the property, or the intellectual property rather, is limited to TikTok. It could also, like, really you should say I'm recording a video and it'll get posted where it gets posted. Because a bunch of TikToks make it over to YouTube. Look at Risa Tisa. Let's see. So they want more because their house was exposed as a nice little... Well, no, the house is a location for music videos. Like, clearly that's what the owner is using it for. You know, they're probably not living there. They're just using it for people that want to come and have a fabulous house for a movie set and whatnot. I think that they thought that, oh, TikTok is only going to make this much, so we're going to give it to you for maybe $5,000, and now you've done it on YouTube. But it's like, you can't come for people after the fact, I feel. Like, okay, it did 27 million views on YouTube. I'm sure it is also posted to her TikTok. Did she post it to her TikTok first and then post it to YouTube after? If so, then she did post it to TikTok. After it's posted to TikTok, was there any agreement that this content couldn't be posted anywhere else? It's like, okay, so they did profit. You're just mad you didn't get more of the money. And I feel like you, as somebody who's trying to do a set, You need to have your rate, and it shouldn't be tied into how much the product makes, because I'm sure people will, if somebody rents your house to shoot a movie and the movie makes $1 billion, you gonna want a cut of that? That's not how that works. You know, you're not getting a cut of it. So why are you trying to make it work that way now? Why now? Exactly. Sounds like a cash grab. Video was less than 2.5 minutes. Big Reese finally getting her movie made. Did you see the trailer? Who's Big Reese? $10,000 for 12 hours was too expensive anyway. They probably didn't expect it to do as good as it did. That's how I feel. That is how I feel. I'm like, I don't know. Y'all seem kind of shady about that. Summer Walker, my sweet, sweet summer child. Summer Walker shades both of her baby daddies, saying, my next baby daddy will be rich. Now you have one child by London on the track and one by rapper LVRD Pharaoh. But your next baby daddy gonna be rich. Hun, I'm gonna tell you something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They can be rich. They can still be stingy. They can still be cheap. They can still be thrifty and not want to pay a peep. I've learned, get you a man that's making $250 to about $4. They'll want to shower you with their money because they got to prove they have it. Once you get over that child, they want to keep it to themselves. I know. I've met them. Pharrell Williams is a real disappointment. He says he wants celebrities to zip it when it comes to politics. He says, I don't do politics. In fact, I get annoyed sometimes when I see celebrities trying to tell you who to vote for. What the heck? Shut up. Nobody asked you. No, we've asked directly. We have asked pointed, direct questions because we want to know. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say we deserve to know. I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to say we want to know, and we ask directly. So that's who's asking. The public, the people that pay your bills. But I think the smell of that Louis Vuitton leather has clearly gone to your head because you've forgotten you're black. Because now we know who you're voting for. Expect him to start aging and turn into an ankle in 4, 3, 2, 1. And in more disappointing Black men news, we're going to round out the episode with what we came here for. The Shits and Giggles podcast. Now, I didn't know they were out of the UK. I watched them on TikTok. I've never listened to them on their actual platform. But I watch them on TikTok. I'm like, okay. And I've agreed with a lot of them. And I'm like, oh, wow, some straight Black men that I actually agree with. And it's so funny because a few weeks ago, I don't know their names, but the lighter skin one, he was talking about being mixed and, being lighter skinned, and that if he married a white woman, his kids really wouldn't be Black. They were talking about how that had happened in other families. But yet, you go on Andrew Schultz's podcast and allow him to repeatedly disrespect Black women who pay your bills, and laugh with your head back. I was seeing filling with laughter. Filling. I want to know now, as someone who has had a guest on my show, remember when we had Monica from All About the Tea on the show, and she made that joke about Quad? Oh, she's got that hairline because her husband was dragging her around the head by the head, And I said, we don't make jokes about domestic violence here. We don't make jokes about black women here. That's not what we do. And she had a moment about it and never came back on the show. She's like, you're not going to check me. And I'm like, ma'am, you're not going to say, then you're not going to say that. See how simple that is? Andrew also said, oh, there are no baddies in Atlanta. That already lets you know, there's so many ways to diffuse things. Like, what do you mean? Like, oftentimes it's best to just let someone know they're crazy by repeating the question to them very slowly and ask them, I'm confused by this. You see, you don't have to say you're being ignorant. You don't have to say you're being racist. You can just say, I'm very confused. Where is this going? What do you mean by that? And then you have somebody else. It's not even like you're alone. You have backup. Also, shit don't have to air. It is cool to get up and say, you know what, I want to thank you for the opportunity, but it's not going to align with what our business model is. It's not going to align. That's not what we do. It's not what we stand for. It's not who we are. I will not allow anyone to make me feel uncomfortable. I'll make you feel uncomfortable. I'll make you feel uncomfortable real quick. And for men who seem to have a grasp of being black in the world, especially because I knew they both weren't from America, but I thought they was here. I did. I thought they was here. For some reason, I thought they were in Maryland. But I digress. I've heard them speak very intelligently. So for them to cower to Andrew Schulz, I'm sorry, if you're going to cower, you better give me somebody to cower to. Andrew Schulz? Now, Diddy, you putting a weapon up in somebody's face. All right now. Okay. I ain't about to get pistol whipped. Everybody's like, okay. That was not you. And the thing is, you're supposed to be funny. You're supposed to be commentators. You should have been able to turn that shit on its head so fast. Then a little media training would go so far. You know you are going to get asked, do you date white women? You know you're going to get asked, do you prefer black women? You need to have answers that you have rehearsed in the mirror. And one, you need to ask them, why are you asking me that? Each relationship is different. Each person is different. So I can't compare my relationship with Claudia that I could compare with Linda. Because they're both two different women. So I can't really compare. There are so many different ways to handle it. And y'all didn't think you was going to have to deal with, because you've talked about interracial dating. You've talked about how people react when you are with a black girl than when you are with what you've talked about it. So how is it that you weren't ready when somebody stepped to you with the bullshit? And Andrew, you came with the bullshit. But I never expected anything from you except mediocrity and low blows. Let me check these comments. Oh, and if anybody wants to shimmy on in and give a little vocal. Next, baby daddy, please. My good sis. I am a generous man, not a rich one. But see, generous is all you need. Alex, have you slept since this Diddy news? Yes, I went to bed right after the last video. Let's see. Oh, I have to review the video. So because, YouTube wants to act funky. So it'll be back up soon. Black Americans aren't even thinking about these people. Internalized racism and desperation to feel validated by white men. If you let a heterosexual black man talk long enough, he will tell you everything you need to know about them. It's wild that this popped up while I was watching The Apology. Cancel them, Tyler, and anyone else acting uppity. A straight black man cowered to a white man. Typical. Because I'm sorry, when he said there's no baddies in Atlanta, you know how easy diffusion to you there's no baddies in Atlanta. I don't even like women, and I know there's some beautiful black women in Atlanta. Maybe there are no cute white girls in Atlanta. Is that what you're saying? Are they all a little buck-toothed and slack-jawed, a little Appalachia Hills looking, little inbred? See, I'm sorry, ain't no white person ever gonna step to me with no bullshit like that. All I have to say is 2 words: Habsburg chin. Habsburg chin. Honest to God, that would have been the perfect result. Habsburg chin. Habsburg chin. Y'all just could have looked at each other and said, Habsburg. That's a very Habsburg question. Ooh, that's another one. That's a very Habsburg question. Oh, that question, that seems like something I get asked on Fox News. You really want to continue with this line of questioning? Are we live? See, I'm coming up with diffusers like Febreze. Atlanta is full of beautiful women. Love from Cali. We've seen them. Good morning from, what is HTX? What is HTX? Is that Houston? Is that Houston, Texas? Is that what it is? Is that like a plane? I mean, a airport call signal? As the saying goes, if you grin, you're in. On the Poor Minds podcast, which are 2 black women. Not Habsburg. What in the remit? Okay, it is Houston. Yeah, I was like, is that Houston? It was the X that threw me. Because I'm used to seeing HOS for Houston. Unlike you, Alex, some people will do anything for a clicking of you to make $1 or $2. I mean, but the thing is, instead of having a moment where you would have solidified your fan base, you have now put a large crack in it. You've embarrassed yourself thoroughly. You've embarrassed yourself. And so they almost saved themselves when they were like, oh yeah, we believe in the black girlfriend effect, where, a black girl dates a white man and he glows up, she takes him to a barber, gets him some clothes that fit, just cleans him up a little bit. I've done it too. It's like, okay, I can, we can just, put a little, tuck that shirt in here, get a better shoe, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, you look cute now. But then Andrew said, oh, they grow their beards out because they're getting slapped. And it's like, that was the moment to say, whoa, why are you saying black women are violent? That's not funny. That's all you had to say. And it's like, it's an edited show. So it's like, we're not going to use that. It's absolutely crazy to say there are no baddies in Atlanta. I'm not from there and have no vested interest, but come on, man, he's full of it. He has to mean white girls, or he just doesn't like black women. And that's the thing. You never make blanket statements like that. But he could have defended they could have defended black women instead of coming out with an apology after. And I will say they looked uncomfortable, but they wouldn't have been uncomfortable if they had just spoken up or walked off. You could have said, oh, we just didn't do the interview. We didn't like how it was coming off. Like, there are ways to walk away instead of now you gotta backpedal and pussy pop. A backpedal and pussy pop. They're gonna backpedal and pussy pop. And now there's a question of authenticity. And now they have to go, and then having to go through this publicly. Ooh. And you know people gonna be down in the comments, and now everything you say is going to be looked at under a magnifying glass. Every comment, now you're also who you date is going to, now you like, I don't know if I want to date a white girl now. Now, are you going to start dating black women for the show? Like Jonathan Majors, you're going to find a Megan Good? Are you going to start looking for your Coretta? They're going to go on their Coretta mission, y'all. I can see it. Oh, you going to hop on? All right, here's the link. Yes, come in. Share with me. Share with me. Hello.
Hey, boo, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I got my camera off. Hold on. Let me get myself together. I'm about to make my morning coffee before I go to class.
You can just give us a vocal.
So, yeah, I'm really, really disappointed. I cannot believe that. I mean, I can believe it, but straight black men just continue to disappoint us. And the thing about it is, like you said, it didn't take anything. I watched their little apology video and they were talking about fight or flight. No one was threatening to fight you. No one was saying, hey, you better agree with denigrating black women or else we're going to do. There's something very insidious about the way that straight black men want approval from straight white men so badly. And I think it's interesting how they don't have a problem with racism as long as it's directed towards us. They would sit here and caca and kiki with our ops like that. Did you notice how there was also an Indian guy or whatever sitting next to Ansho? He was laughing kind of hard too. They didn't check him either. They didn't check the other guy that was sitting next to Fuhad, the darker skin guy. They didn't check him either. There were other two men of color there that were also climbing. Did you notice how no other men would let somebody else come in and talk about the women of their community like that except black men? Jewish men, Andrew Shaw, he would never let you talk about the women in his community like that, ever. You're not going to hear that. You're not going to sit up here and make disparaging marks and all types of quips about them and what they got going on and what they do. And you're not going to do that. Not in front of him. That Indian man, he wouldn't have let you sit there and talk about Indian women like that. But when it comes to us, you can caca and kiki about it. Listen, if you like snow bunnies, that's your business. Just keep black women out your mouth. That's all we ask.
You can date who you want to date without putting other women down. And that's the thing. It's like, it's not that you should, if you are into white women, then you should be talking about white women. You shouldn't be talking about black women. You should be talking about, this is why I like white women, not this is why I don't like black women.
And while we're on that subject, because the lighter skinned one, Jay, so he was talking about being biracial. So he said his mother was Irish and his father was Trini, right? Schultz said, oh, you're a double slave.
Oh, God, yes. I can't even, I don't know.
You're a double slave. You let that man disrespect your black side and your white mama. And not only that, how come nobody pushed back and said, well, wait a minute, so you got all these things to say about black women. Why don't you sit up here and tell this man to his face what y'all say about white women that date and have babies by black men? What are the names that you would call his mama? Because you all consider them those women damaged goods. They can't come back around y'all after they've been with black men. They've been tainted. But see, you didn't say that about his white mother.
Sure didn't. Kept his mouth completely closed.
And see, that's the kind of stuff. So when they're going on an apology tour and, oh, well, we didn't know. And then not only that, but so when y'all came over here and you were putting the schedule together for what y'all was going to do and whose podcast y'all was going to start, you didn't vet them before? You didn't see what, listen, I'll go even farther than this. Some of this I blame Charlemagne for, because he's another one sat up there and cockeyed and kiki with this fool for years when they had their little podcast. And let him get away with saying all type of racist stuff. He's been saying that stuff around, and you can see he's the type that like consistently tries to push the boundary with that racist stuff when he's around black men to see, you know what I'm saying, like how far he can take it. Who's ever actually turned around and checked the dog snot out of him? Nobody. Not these black men.
Sure not.
And so I love where black women are taking this. We're not going to get upset anymore. We're not going to do all this screaming and hollering and video making and none of that. We are simply going to withdraw from all of it. We will let whatever you have crash and burn. We're just going to withdraw our support. And I mean, that needs to be done across the board, because like the other person in the comments said, when you let some of these black men run their mouth long enough and they end up telling us how they absolutely really feel, I think a lot of black women ought to sit down. We to take them capes off.
We got a black man joining us in the chat.
Tamika Mallory need to sit down, take them capes off. They don't deserve it. They don't appreciate it. Look, when given the opportunity, they throw us under the bus so they can feel more chummy with white men. Because and you know why, Alex? They value and crave misogyny more than they hate racism.
Because they want to feel the power.
And that is the most powerful thing they can feel, is to be sitting up next to a white man. And I don't understand how you still haven't figured out. You've been living in the United States your whole life, or even they live in the UK. You've been over there with these white people your whole life. When have they ever treated you like you were some type of equal?
Never.
What's going on, y'all? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Daryl, what are your thoughts? I'm so glad we have another black man weighing in.
I had to hop on. I think I hit you with a live show. I'm like, let me hop on. I got something to say. And good morning, everybody. And Alex, I don't know how you up this early with everything that went down yesterday, but I'm happy that you are. But as a straight black man, I was so pissed off at these two goofy Negroes standing by and letting this deranged wannabe comic say some of the most hideous and ridiculous commentary about black women, about my race, about the people that I was raised by. My mother is a black woman. My girlfriend is a black woman. My grandmother is a black woman. Like, this is the lineage that we come from. And I'm just sick and tired of straight black men standing by and letting anybody or anything say something that is derogatory just for craps and jiggles. I'm trying to like not cuss, because I was
appreciate that.
I was so infuriated. I was so infuriated. And this idiot, Andrew Schultz, has a history of saying outlandish stuff. And you know who always checks him? Black women. People don't remember. Crystal from the Reed used to work with him. And one of the reasons why she walked away from him is like, this dude is an idiot and I'm going to punch him in the face. And that, go ahead, Alex.
I realized something else that's really important to this. They're rich. They didn't need this appearance on Andrew's podcast. They were doing financially fine. So if they chose to say, I'm just going to get up, I don't like how you're talking about black people, are like, we're black people, are like, do you not get what you're doing here? Do you not see this is an issue? And left. They could have just left and their pockets would have been fine. This was not a make or break interview or audition where you had to tap dance. You already have an established brand. You already have live shows. Like, you were already where they are. There was no need for you to kowtow. You had money to walk away. It's not like if I don't do, it's not like you're, struggling.
Yeah.
You could have walked away and your rent would have been paid.
And then to Adrian's point, the little Indian dude, he has defended black women before. I remember I don't know if you guys listen to Fresh and Fit, who's another bunch of idiots, but he defended black women openly on that podcast and even checked Andrew on it. So to see him laughing and giggling like this is okay, I'm like, okay, either y'all just are illiterate and don't understand that sometimes jokes are not funny, or you're not really comics, because like this is not even funny. Like comedians won't even like touch on stuff that's not funny. Like nobody was thought this was funny. And just to see these two goofballs just stand by and just like didn't do anything, didn't even defend it. And I think like until we as black men openly defend black women, we will never, have like we cannot unite. We need to unite as one, and that's through anything. Like I had a situation at my job where one of my managers was being like racially harassed by a white man, and I went to HR. I'm like, I will raise hell if y'all don't stand by and defend this black woman, because I will knock everybody out. And that, it takes people that's like use their words and their verbal power as black men to be like, we're not standing for this. You have your own purposes, that's fine. Your purposes does not mean that you can degrade black women for your own personal preferences. That's just ridiculous, and it's illiterate to even think that. So, yeah, I'm trying not to cuss, Alex. I really am, because I was just infuriated listening to them, and that little apology was ridiculous. It's a mute point right now.
I didn't even hear the apology because I'm like, there's just like the time, like you can't. How do you apologize for being a coward? And also, there's just a level of how old are they? Because they don't give me that they're in their 20s.
They're like mid 30s.
No, they're like mid 30s. Yeah, they're in like their early to mid 30s, like 32, 33. The thing about it is he was trying to say, well, it was a fight when you're in fight or flight mode. And that's the thing that was so insidious. That fight or flight mode means that there's some type of immediate threat. That's
correct. You're in danger.
You know what I'm saying? You're in danger.
You're in danger.
You weren't. Here's the thing. But think about that psychologically, what that means. I was in danger of not being accepted by this white man if I stood up for black women in that moment.
Correct.
I was in danger of pissing him off. See, I can't make him upset, even though, like you said, Al, they didn't need the money. They could have absolutely told him about himself, got up and walked off, and that wouldn't have changed anything up. You know what I'm saying? At all. They wouldn't have been affected by that at all. But instead, to sit there and allow him to do that and then say, oh, well, it was a fight or flight response. Like, come on, bruh. Yeah. That's weak, man. That's weak.
And to your point, Adrian, Charlamagne needs to call this out. If Andrew ain't giving Donkey of the Day today on the Breakfast Club, everybody need to be protesting Charlamagne and be like, because you're the one that brought this idiot to the national spotlight. So you need to be called out.
Sure did. Mm-hmm.
No, everybody needs to be called out. Like, don't stand by and let this happen.
Black men has been lifted up.
Say it again, Alex.
What black men has Charlamagne lifted up?
Kevin Hart, because he had to pick him up. Did you hear me, Alex?
Yeah. I'm not talking about russet potatoes. I'm talking about men that have grown up, as in away from the floor.
I'm probably Dr. Umar. That's the only person I can think of.
Oh, God. Is that who's responsible? Ooh, I have some choice words, but I'm going to keep them to myself.
Same. But yeah, I was infuriated. And like I said, until we as black men like put our lives, our finances on the line to defend our sisters, we are never going to be united. And that's where I'm coming from. And like, it just, I can't tolerate that. I can't tolerate it.
It's an incredible disappointment, but none of us are surprised. Christina, what are your thoughts?
I just wanted to say good morning. How is everybody this lovely morning?
Good.
I saw Liam's comment in the live chat that said that I wish I could rewind it, but I'm pretty sure it said that men just like the hierarchy of being at the top and shitting on everybody else. I'm paraphrasing. Oops, sorry, I'm sorry, Alex. I have a mouth like a sailor. I promise I'm trying. But he says they just like pouring down. Yeah, I can attest to it. Yeah, want to feel powerful, and I feel like BMs don't realize what that triangle looks like, that pyramid looks like from the outside. And I've always kind of felt like it always goes like white man at top on the top, and then everybody else just is underneath, and
Hmm.
they will constantly take that boot, put it on, and just stomp down whenever they feel like it. And for like, I don't understand why our counterparts keep doing this. Because for me, like when I sit back and I watch reality TV and I watch stuff on social media and I see the comments and stuff, it just kind of seems like straight black men want that same type of power, and they take it out on us and like our non-straight black men that are around. And it just is frustrating. I wish that we could just all get along. It'd be so much better.
They don't take nothing out on me anymore. They used to be able to, but now my mouth is a little too slick.
I'm trying to get
Hmm.
on your level, Alex. I really am. I've been opening up the thesaurus. I've been working on the attitude. I truly have been. But I gotta go. I gotta get my kids to school. Y'all have a lovely day.
All righty, you work on that attitude.
Yeah.
I swear, you have to let them have it.
Hmm.
And
Every chance you get.
I just want to add to that when she was talking about them wanting to be on the top of that hierarchy, you know, there's I feel like they would just go ahead and tell the truth. They're scared of them white men. You're
Yeah.
scared of them. You're scared to
Yes.
upset them. You're scared that they may turn that hatred around on you. And I understand the psychological, you know, conditioning because they absolutely have rained terror down on us before. So I'm not saying that fear is unwarranted, but it's hard for me to respect, to give them the respect that they're demanding if you can't even do something as simple as stand up for the women and children in your own community against this op that we've had for a couple hundred years now. If you're not man enough to do that, then why in the world should we respect you? I can't extend the type of respect they're demanding. They're always, talking about they're the leaders and they're this, but when it's time to
When it
close
was time
ranks,
to lead,
when it's
when it was
time
Hmm.
to
time
lead,
to lead, when you
you
had a
said you're
moment
not doing it.
to stand,
No.
when you
No.
had a moment to stand up and be a hero, you didn't. You cowered. You worried about your check. You worried about upsetting the apple cart. You worried that, oh, he might block me from getting a deal, instead of realizing I'm more talented.
Right there.
It was a moment to be a leader. It was a moment to stand strong, and you were weak. Now, when Monica came on my show and made that joke, I said, no, corrected it right then, right there in the moment. Didn't
Yeah.
let that moment slide, didn't come back. And the chat was grateful for it. No one appreciated it. It was, and it's like, it's okay to tell somebody, hey, that's over the line. I don't joke like that.
Yeah.
And he would have recalibrated and moved on. Fight or flight. You both could
It,
have whooped his ass.
exactly. That's what I was like. What were you in danger of? This is a skinny, lanky dude.
What do you mean fight or flight?
Right.
Nobody had a weapon.
It's outrageous, man. All right, I gotta hop off. I'm out walking and exercising, but I had to hop on because I'm like I couldn't take it any longer. So you guys have a great morning, and I'll catch you guys later.
Alrighty, you do the same. Fight
Okay.
or flight. Well, you in real fight or flight now. You're in the fight of your life for your for your show.
And somebody they removed the apology and they went back and somebody said they removed the first 100 episodes of their podcast. I think they started during the pandemic. So they had like 300-400 episodes of that podcast. They removed the first 100 episodes. So you must have said, okay, wait a minute, before people go back and start looking for other stuff. Let us preemptively go in and take this down ourselves.
Ooh.
Because they know how Black women was about to start digging.
Ooh. They said, hold the fuck on.
And I just couldn't get over.
Before we get famous for what?
Right. Because black women are about to go on and be like, oh, and you said this, and you said, and I can't get over that Schultz do whatever with that little greasy little stroke mustache or whatever that is. That little, he just looks nasty. I don't understand how he looked dusty and greasy at the same time. He just looks disheveled, and you let somebody like that rank on us. Well, like I said, I'm gonna drop down. I'm about to get ready to go to class.
All right. Actually, I have to get to the not the Real Housewives of Salt Lake, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, because I got to finish that because Housewives of Salt Lake City comes on tonight. But I just wanted to get on and chat about that real quick. But thank y'all for joining me, and I will see y'all soon.
Bye, babe.
Bye.